Hello everyone and welcome back to Plough Lane. Again in slightly depressing circumstances after a 3-1 in the end.
3-1.
Could have been 4-5 or 6-1. A defeat to Mansfield in the league. I'm joined to my left by George Jones and my right by Rob Boyce. And try and see if we can extract something out of today's 90 minutes.
It's just a disappointing result, really. I said it before on the pre-match show that I felt like Mansfield were the best side I've seen this season. And you can see why they are up there. Like, they do play some good football, good possession-based football. But I think the most disappointing thing from today is, even though we had our settled back line, the goals we seem to concede. I mean, I know the third comes when Pierre comes on for Pierce, for example. So there's a few changes. Obviously, Marsh and Jana were on at that point, so we made quite a few changes. But I just even felt like their first goal was quite soft for me, which is quite unlike us, to be fair. We've been, up until the last 2-3 games. We've been keeping our clean sheets. We had 13 clean sheets up until that, and we looked quite solid. But today, I just felt like you can't win games of football if you're going to give away such cheap goals. One positive from today is Ali yet again. I think he's been a massive find in the January transfer window, and he's going to be a player that we're going to look forward to next season. And it's obviously getting to that stage of the season where I felt personally that the atmosphere was a little bit flat and the performance was a little bit flat, if I'm honest. And
I think the two measure each other when the performance is flat.
I'm not blaming the crowd for flat performance.
It's kind of like a
no, it certainly is. And I think a lot of people. I mean, I'll hold my hands up and be honest. I feel like I'm just waiting towards the end of the season now to Craig Cope and Johnny Jackson probably are planning towards next season who to give contracts to, who their targets are for the summer. And it very much felt like that out there. We're not going to get promoted or playoffs. I think that was quite adamant a week or two ago. And, you'd think 17 points from relegation, we ain't going to throw it away. We'll pick up enough points between now and the end of the season. So that's the way I see it.
Absolutely. George, is there any positives you can find from that? I know you're usually quite good at finding positives.
The ladies are doing quite well.
The women's team are doing well. The women's team's season is far from over. But talking about the men's team and today, the only positive is that we all saw this coming. It's not a shock to our system. We all, were fairly, I think, realistic on our pre-match show about what the tough test we were in for. We spoke about what a good side Mansfield were, and they showed that again today. Their subs were very good. Their 11 and Haram Boateng, their 44, who came on, were very, very good and completely changed the game from when we were okay in the first half. We were poor. Ali Al-Hamadi, the only player who had a really good game today for us, I thought. I thought players who are normally consistent struggled. I thought Nick had his bad game for the month, so hopefully he'll have a couple of good ones coming up. But I thought Woodyard struggled again. He's been struggling for a while, and I think Chris Gunter struggled again, and he's been struggling all season.
Do you think Woodyard's struggling because he's just played too many games in succession, or do you think, obviously we know he had quite a big injury and missed chunk of pre-season. Do you think that's also played a factor into it? Or?
I think Gunter and Woodyard are both in the same boat, and I'd say it's a year too far. I think for both...
Woodyard's a year too far. He's only 30, 31.
Yeah, I know, but it's that aggressive, high-energy midfielder, that's not an uncommon age to fall off unless you're Danny Bullman. But I think
I think that's a big shout to say. I think that's a big shout to say Woody's a year too far. George.
I think
it
is a big shout.
Fallen off a little bit this season, but I think that's naturally going to happen. He's a League Two player. He's not going to be 8 out of 10 every game every season.
For me, I think he needs a rest, a bit like Josh Davison. I think there needs to be a bit of rotation.
I can't believe George Marsh wasn't brought on in midfield.
That's what I thought. When I saw Marshy coming on, I thought it'd be for Woody. And then I thought maybe you can do something a bit creative. Maybe you do go back three and take Gunter off, and just to give you something, because Gunter had to come off. I don't think there's any debate about that. But I would have brought Woodyard off as well. I think we were poor, and I do stand by what I said. Woodyard's been poor all season, and I do think he needs, his legs have gone, and you can see that his speed of thought isn't quite what it was either. He's taken a couple too many touches. I'd like to see George Marsh come in for him from the start next week and see Marsh in midfield and then see where we go from there.
We are going to be joined by Stuart Deacons. Have we got a spare microphone?
George has set it up with 3 chairs. So move along and we'll have a little reshuffle.
We shuffled the pack. We're going to a back 4 instead of a back 3 here.
You're Chris Gunter in that.
I've had worse.
There we go, joined now by Stuart Deacons. Stu,
you got a moan already?
Yeah.
Oh, plenty. Give us your takes.
It's cold.
Yeah, the
cold,
coffee
huh?
actually, the coffee place. Very good.
Stu, have you had a good birthday?
Yeah, because I wasn't expecting too much today. I wasn't expecting us to. Do you know what? I just felt until that, I was saying to you earlier, wasn't it? Until Al Hamadi had that chance where he squared it for McAteer, wasn't it?
That was it. Yeah.
I felt after that, Boateng come on there, number 44, and I thought dominated in that midfield.
Yep.
And it's the same old thing, isn't it? I just think the depth of our squad isn't there, and we can bring. Let's be fair, Boateng probably goes into our side easily.
Yep.
Big,
I agree.
good player at that level. But yeah, the goals are poor. Not winning. I think we've lost our battles. We've lost a lot of battles in that second half.
Every battle.
I think I think every I just don't think we won anything. And in the end, Mansfield won at a canter. But I thought first half we were in the game.
First 15 minutes we looked really good, and I thought, wow, we're going to really do something here, and it didn't materialise.
It's just not taking chances, and as they say, goals change games. And just Joel, we started this week, didn't we? Obviously, we knew we had Gillingham, Stevenage, Mansfield, and we knew it was going to be a tough week. We lost all three of them, and it's just like, wow.
Stu, it felt to me that we a little bit today are going through the motions. It feels like the season's beginning to fizzle out a little bit. Did you see it that way as well? Like, are we now just looking towards next season, and are the players, I don't want to say on the beach, but that's the phrase which is used in football, but are we a little bit going through the motions, do you think? Or?
I think it's difficult. I think I still think we've got players with knocks. Alex Pearce went off after 70.
I don't think he was fully fit.
No, that looked pre-planned. That looked like he'd been planned to get 70 or 75.
But then you're wondering, did he have it in the bank? Do you know what I mean? Was he not? That I thought, to be fair, again he come in and shored things up, didn't he?
He looked so much better than everyone around him. Is the thing. Like he looks like the best player on the pitch. The way he just effortlessly, the ball comes through, he just steps forward, wins it, and passes it off. It's
he set up the first goal for Ali. He steps in front of his man. Brilliant ball into the channel, and he runs onto it and puts it away. Who can't stop scoring at the moment.
Also, I'd say on that, sorry, Stuart, I think the game was gone when we brought Pearce off. I think the second they got their second, I think the game was gone. I don't think we were going to come back from that.
I don't know. I disagree. I think if you're at home,
there's a lack of inspiration.
I think if you're at home, you should be able to go and push on for.
Especially when we're only 2-1 down.
But you don't win your again. We just didn't win our battles. They had a heads up. I feel in the midfield we just. I don't know whether. I don't know if it works with a two with Woody and Marnie. I just don't know if it does. If I'm being honest with you, I think that's where the last two games. I feel we've just been short in that area, and I can't work out if it's because we are short on a body or we're playing with a sort of defensive one and a one that's wanting to push forward. So we've got the balance right in there, because I just think the middle of the pitch, last two games, is where we've lost games. But apart from that, it's all right.
We do seem to struggle to keep it in the middle at the moment. I think that's our main problem. We went from a team that could kind of had Woody, who was like last season, not more in the early days as much. We were a bit better in the middle. We could hold on to the ball, and now it just seems to be it goes from the defence and we either hoof it, we play into the middle and then go backwards again. And it's just quite negative. I think we go out trying not to lose. Again, is that mentality come back?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because I look at Al Hamadi and I think he's a threat all game.
Yeah.
He's an absolute threat. You chuck a ball in behind. So if Josh wins a header, and he won a few headers today.
Yeah.
If he's on their last man, he's causing havoc for them.
And he's so good at the ball, and his goal is the perfect example of how dangerous he is. You get the ball and he just makes it happen at the edge of the box. He gets the ball, he's got tricky feet, he runs in and he's got the power to beat a keeper from close range, and also the accuracy to put it in the corner or the other side of the goal or whatever.
You know what? He should have scored a second today, and I'm surprised with the form
it was Gillingham again, wasn't it?
I'm surprised
on the other side.
I'm just surprised the form he's on at the moment. He's on a hot streak that he just didn't pull the trigger. He done well, cut inside, put 2 or 3 defenders on their backside. And maybe he just thought, I'm scoring too many goals, I'll share them out to McAteer instead of just pulling the trigger. And I think that you said, Stu, that was a big turning point in the game.
You've got a forward in form, and you're going to pass it to McAteer. No disrespect to Jacketeer, hasn't scored a goal.
Yep.
I just don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's come inside, and if he hits it, he gets deflection.
I think it was directly in front of us. There was 3 or 4 defenders just like in his eyesight.
McAteer had a much better angle on it.
And you got to remember, their
the right
keeper,
thing to square it.
Scott Flinders isn't a bad keeper.
Yeah.
They've got an EFL experienced keeper. But just some comments coming in there.
You can just get any deflection, can't you?
One from Alex Bush, I think it was, said about the banners and the flags being pulled down. Yeah, about 70 minutes, some guy was walking around just pulling them all down.
Yeah, Lee Willett, who puts the flags up before the game, he decided to leave a bit early today, and he took the flags down and took them with him, which I don't blame him if he wants to leave the game early and the game's done and he wants to take the flag. They're his flags, he spends a lot of time putting them up. So
I don't know if it is though that we're sorry, I was just going to say, I don't know if it is if we have sort of not down tools as such. I don't think it is that, but I think the problem you've got is you're playing teams that have got something to play for.
Yeah.
You know, and let's be fair. Outside our playoffs, and then we've got Crawley coming down in a couple of weeks, who are going to be trying to avoid relegation. I think they've lost it. They've lost today. Might be a good time to get the final scores in.
Yeah. Before we're beaten for noise.
Yeah, I did add ours, unfortunately.
Thanks, Stu.
Nice reminder
There were some interesting ones today, though. Not surprised at Grimsby after their FA Cup heroics. Gillingham, that's an interesting one.
0-0.
It's not a bad point away from home, though. To be fair,
Swindon's 1-0.
Yeah.
Orient.
Crawley still losing.
Rochdale really
annoying.
surprised me.
Yeah.
Did we soften them up for them?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sutton got a late equaliser. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Off Twitter. Just I sit here reading.
Do you know what?
I've seen them, to be fair.
Do you know what? You can put the speeds on, but I didn't want to put it too quick. Otherwise, but yeah, do you know, I do worry if we haven't got anything to play for, with teams coming to us for something.
Yeah. I agree with you, Stu. I don't think we've down tools at all. But we just look at our team going through the motions. It felt very flat today in the atmosphere and the performance, and I just worry that this is going to be the way it's like to the end of the season.
Just confirmation there. I'm on this. We've got man of the match.
I think my face just gave it away there. I don't know.
I don't think any of us up here would necessarily agree with that.
I think he did well. There was a bit of an interesting one about 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
He went down, then he grabbed their player's leg and they squared up and the ref just completely blind to it. And that probably gives you the example of the officiating in League Two. But
or the one who booked someone for an elbow on Gunter.
Yeah,
ref was interesting today. I'm going to leave it at that.
Cold,
I thought that was an interesting decision to book the player for an elbow. I would have thought an elbow would be a red card after consulting with their linesman.
Yeah, that's either nothing or a red. Because either you don't think it's enough in it, or it's a red because you've elbowed him.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Although you can have a non-deliberate elbow, but you've got to lift your.
It looked quite deliberate.
The linesman flagged straight away, and
but he flagged the wrong way.
I didn't think the referee was strong today.
No.
A couple of times you blew up when there was advantage.
Yeah.
Some of the advantage. And then there was one where I could swear it was a nailed-on free kick for us, and all of a sudden they were taking it.
Yeah, I know.
That was a foul on Woody. He gave it to us initially, and then he changed his mind because he'd realised he'd pointed the wrong way.
But then on Tuesday night, I thought the referee was really good on Tuesday night. Let the game flow and everything.
I
know, I just see that.
Could this be a relegation scrap?
I don't know the league table-wise. I don't know.
We're 15th, so...
Yeah, I think if we were 5 points worse off, it would be where we'd be looking over our shoulder. But I think where we are now, we're safe.
We've got 13 to play now.
Form-wise, we're relegation form in the last 7. However, I do think we've got enough points in the bag, and between now and the end of the season, look, we're going to get bodies back from injuries.
It's when you get to that stage, you don't look at the league table because it's like, we've got to that stage, we just don't look at the league table now.
Sorry, Tom, we are closer to the bottom 4 than we are to the top 7 now.
Yeah, but playoffs were never realistic.
I know, but I'm just saying it's at a stage now where we're 10 points off the bottom 4.
Yeah, but only two go down, George.
I know, but the bottom 4 is where the scrap is, the main body of the scrap. So, I think
give it 3 weeks. You're going to have hopefully when we've got everyone back, we'll have a bench that's going to have a combination of either the starting 11 or DJ, Pell, Brown.
I don't think DJ is going to be back soon. He's out for 8 weeks.
No, I remember when the team's fully fit.
Joe, I think it's unlikely. If Crawley got some games in hand, they get their games in hand, then there's 10 points in it. That's a lot at this stage of the season.
That's what I say. I think, like I say, if we were 5 points worse off, we'd be looking over our shoulder. But where we are now, I think we're safe.
Comment there from Teddy. I can't see the surname there, but right, there you go. We need to be better in the third. Third. There we go.
We've got a third.
Yeah.
We've got enough markers on the pitch to work
it's
out
just
third.
Yeah. We just need to get a bit more, like, what's the word? Cohesiveness, maybe, of getting the ball there. We seem to just either lump it or expect Ali to do something special with the ball and get forward.
I think with the players we have at the moment, we have players who are confident on the ball, who can play the ball, like Little's very comfortable, McAteer's very comfortable, Chisholm's very comfortable. We've got a few players in the team who, aren't as comfortable. Paul Callenby has never been great with his feet.
He flicked the ball at someone's head and then ran on.
He did turn into prime Ronaldinho for 5 minutes or 5 seconds, but for the most part, he doesn't like to play the ball out from the back, he's not a ball-playing centre-back. So you've got a bit of a hybrid situation where some players are comfortable, want to play a ball passing game, and then others want to play it long into the channels. So It'll be interesting to see how our recruitment is in the summer.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, is just seeing who comes and who goes in the summer. I think if Ali carries on his form, we could genuinely lose him to someone in the higher division.
The thing is, he's on a 2.5-year deal, and look, if we were to lose him, I think we got him on a free transfer, is my understanding.
So it's instant profit.
So you know, look,
and some goals
whatever
as well
happens will happen, innit?
Do you know what? The interesting thing about that we need to be better in the third. I think actually we need to be better defensively. That's 10 goals in 4 games now.
Yeah.
After getting our 13th clean sheet this season. Away at Northampton, it's just. I don't know what's changed, but we're leaking in way too many goals.
I think like I said, the defensively we were poor, and they were soft goals as well. It was not just we conceded loads of goals; they're soft goals as well. But I'll be honest, I don't think you can say there's 1/3 we need to improve on, because we've been poor in all of them. We've been conceding soft goals at one end. We're not being ruthless. We're not pulling the trigger in the other end, and we're losing every midfield battle in the middle. It sounds harsh, but it's been a few really poor performances over the last couple of months, and it's something that has to improve.
Yeah, and there was boos at full time, and I don't think they're completely unjustified, in all honesty.
We've had isolated results. That's
it's been 3 games of. It's been 3 poor games.
This was a tough patch.
And I'm not saying like Gillingham, Stevenage, and it's not easy games, but you expect a little bit more. Like players that come on 15 minutes, you expect them to run around the whole game.
It's just the quality though. Like you look at Danny. What's his name? The one who's at Mansfield. Sorry, it was all Mansfield. Was at Walsall. Johnson. So scored? Was top goal to Walsall. Went back to Mansfield. They put him in the squad. Boateng. It's just the depth of the squads is where we are. You know, it's not a surprise that the second half of games is where we've actually edged our way out of it. We just haven't had that depth to bring players on. Do you know what I mean? That's your problem. And when you've got players of that quality, Mansfield have spent a lot of money in that squad.
Yeah,
that's a very expensive squad they've got there.
Yeah, but we mustn't forget our transfer budget in January went up. Our budget increased by 8% in the January window.
8% is about £8, isn't it?
8% of what? 8% of tenner.
Yeah, but it's gone up, and you know it's not gone well since January. The recruitment wasn't. You know, I know it was a very tough answer. I'm not going to blame.
The recruitment went bad.
I'm not going to blame the recruitment.
I'm not going to blame it. It's the injuries we've got.
Yeah,
that's what's done.
Purely injuries and purely squad depth.
It's also, for me, it's not just about the players, because it's about the style. Because even when things are going well, we're not playing good football. Even when things are going well, and we're getting results.
George is bringing up the bad football again now to cut his agenda. I love this now.
He's
been waiting for months and months.
Yeah, because earlier it's getting results, and now we're losing with bad football.
Just a comment there from Mark Austin. Last 4 games, taking the lead and not won. Concentration needs to improve. Davison needs a rest. I agree with everything.
100%.
We take the lead.
100%.
We just struggle to see a game out. Don't get me wrong.
Is it
You
last
see a
4
game for
games?
15 minutes.
Gillingham. What was the game for Gillingham?
Northampton.
So it's the last 3.
No.
It's the last 3.
Yeah, last.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, Hartlepool. Yeah.
Fair point.
Course,
I think worse.
Taking the lead, not one. Yeah, concentration. It seems to be a thing
point.
where we're so good for 15 minutes and then just can't live up to that.
Started well today, didn't we? Tempo-wise.
Yeah. I thought we were really good at the start, and I was really positive. I was thinking, when we went up, I was like, we could see this out.
Yeah, I'm gonna challenge Mike here. We had a slide on our pre-match show with the stats comparing us and Mansfield in terms of. That one.
We can't go back to pre-match slides.
No.
Yeah, no, but it was talking about leading at half-time, trailing at half-time. And I noticed this in the pre-match show of how we were doing well in the first half and Mansfield dominated in the second. And that really showed the pattern of the game today, because we were okay in the first half and they really struggled, and yet they completely killed us in the second.
Just out of interest, what minute did we score? Because it said
25.
Oh, okay. I thought it might have been around the mark, but they seem to be a much weaker first half team, and I think we saw that. They came out. It's like when Stevenage came out second half; they just absolutely blew us away. I think teams figure us out quite quickly, and we do struggle to have a plan B.
I just think when you look at it, that it's 3 tough games. Gillingham are a little bit false where they are, isn't it? And it's 3 tough games at the end of 3. Because the interesting thing was we bought Aaron Pien, didn't bring on Will Nightingale. So it's like a case of going. I think, do you know what? We've just played 3 high-tempo games with a smaller squad than we've got of the rest, and I just think it's a worry, because we've got a few games. We've still got got Newport midweek and we're ending Barrow. We've got some, Let's not look at our next 5 games, because travelling and stuff like that is going to also
messes with your mentality. Like you've obviously squad and all that sort of stuff. So there we go. There are our next 5: Doncaster,
I did say not
Newport,
next 5.
Crawley, Barrow, and Walsall.
I just did it deliberately to annoy me.
Donny's away, isn't it?
Donny's away.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough run, I think. Donny, Newport, Crawley. Is it Saturday, Tuesday? Yeah. That's not an easy run to have, and I remember we had that at the early part of last season, and we started to struggle there. So.
Well, Barrow started going through a bit of a bad run, and all of a sudden picked up again now.
Yeah.
And also Barrow, considering what they did down here, the type of team they are, they're a team that will kill you if you've got nothing to play for, because they will just fight for each other and want it. You know, Crawley are going to come
Crawley
in.
worries me.
Crawley will come here and do a job on us.
Local derby, no?
Yeah,
Well,
they will turn up. It'll be the
20
same
mile
as
derby.
Sutton. It'll be their cup final. They will need a win to stay alive, and they will come and do a job on
Crawley
us.
fans are going to love you saying it's their cup final.
They're going to look for you in the car park. But
it
right,
is.
so how many points do you get from those 5 games, do you reckon?
4.
It's tough.
4.
I think 5. I think a win and 2 draws.
I would say 5. I think you're point at Donny.
Yeah.
Actually, no, point more. Point at Donny, point at Newport, win at Crawley. I don't see us getting much. You don't see us being Crawley? You're not seeing league table? You've not seen league table?
No, I just think it's the exact type of game we'll lose. Like I said, it's
I
their
think-
cup final.
I
I think
think-
they'll turn up and do us.
It's not a cup final, George. Oh, you can't say it's a cup final. We're in the same league as
We
us.
don't agree with George.
Barrow, no. Walsall, they've not done well today. They're a bit of hit and miss, really. But again, what do we look like? That's the thing, isn't it?
But yeah, I think we've been going for about 15 minutes, so we'll leave it there, because otherwise I think we'll be a bit too depressed and look into the future. It's been a pleasure to be joined. Oh, there you go. Are we training enough? Spike's selected the comment there. On social media, it's small pitches and skills training. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I've been down there. I think on the days that they're recorded, they are doing very much sort of recovery days and very. And to be fair, some of the sessions are really good, but they are doing on a Friday. They're doing a lot more full pitches.
And also the stuff they do on a full pitch that's the stuff that you will never film and put out, because that's the stuff that will tell you what your starting 11 is, what shape you're playing, what you're doing at set pieces. So that's the stuff that will always stay behind closed doors. But they do it, and it's an interesting conversation to have, but they do a lot of it.
You're arguing. Go on.
Sorry, I would say, Stu, just before I get this to you, I think they're probably not doing enough skill training and small pitch stuff, because that's the bit that we're losing. We're losing the scraps, the second balls, the tight control when you're needing 1-2 bang, quick touches. And I think that's probably stuff we need to see more of in training.
I think you're training a little bit. You're not going to train as much because
Yeah.
you're picking up injuries, so you're probably going to do a little bit more recovery. And if you're playing midweeks,
Yeah.
you really can't do much anyway.
Yeah.
And Hugo Brogan is getting really stressed by putting everything in caps. we can see you. Look at me. I can see you.
Can see you.
Well, can't see you technically,
We need to clarify, we can't see you at home. We can see your comments.
but the cap locks are
Hugo.
definitely getting our attention.
I was going to say, Hugo, don't get angry. Look, we're not getting relegated. We're not getting promoted. We'll go again next season. All right?
We get to go on to more away days next year in League 2.
Yeah.
And on that note, huge thank you to Stuart Deakins, George Jones,